Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the GSMC Hockey Podcast presented by the GSMC Sports Podcasting Network. I'm your host, Garrison McDaniel, and we have a great show for you guys today where we're gonna dive right into the Game 2 from the Stanley Cup Final between the Edmonton Oilers and the Florida Panthers, as Florida was able to take another one away from Edmonton in Florida. And then we're gonna get into our second segment of the night, talking about Draisaitl's hit on Barkov and Sam Carrick's slash. Both of them received disciplinary fines, and then the other one got off scot-free, and that's kind of been a point of contention in the hockey world up today. And then our third segment will be my first edition of my mock drafts for the 2024 NHL entry draft, as I have finished it officially, and I'm going to reveal it in increments of 10, starting from 30, going all the way to number 1 overall. We're going to do it every Wednesday leading into the NHL draft. I'm pretty excited for this one, so put a lot of time and a lot of effort into doing, research for prospects every single year. I just like to do it on the side by myself. So now this year I finally have a platform to share with other people. So I'm looking forward to that. And then our fourth segment of the night, I will be going into Jim Nill and his general management moves that got him the GM of the Year award in the NHL, as that was announced today as well. Then in our fifth and final segment, I'll take us home by talking about the Game 3 between the Florida Panthers and the Edmonton Oilers. That will be played tomorrow night, so on Friday I'll have that game to talk about. But right now, we just got predictions and insights for you guys to go into tomorrow with some things on your mind going into tomorrow for that Game 5. But before we get into all of that, as always, if you would like to get your comments read out loud live on air by me, or if you just want to support the GSMC Sports Network in any way, use the tips and donations link right on the screen right there at the GSMCpodcast.net. It goes a long way to supporting the show, so if you guys would be so kind, it does mean a lot to us. But without further ado, we're going to get right into our first segment of the night, talking about the Panthers-Oilers Game 2 breakdown. Panthers beat the Edmonton Oilers 4-1, winning their second game in a row by 3 goals. Very impressive what the Panthers have been able to do against the Oilers this series. It's really just shut down defense. We talked about that for their Game 1. And it's really coming to life again here in Game 2, and we're going to probably see that throughout the series. Alexander Barkov is probably the best defensive forward in the NHL. And then you have Aaron Ekblad, and you have Gustav Forsling. Both those guys playing at elite level defensively. Nico Mikkola, you have Oliver Ekman-Larsson, you have, the entire team is really fit for exactly what the Florida Panthers need, and they're getting the results that they want from it. They decided to go very defensive, and you got Bob in 2019. Aaron Ekblad was a number 1 overall pick in 2013. You got Gustav Forsling off the waivers. You got Oliver Ekman-Larsson in free agency last year. I mean, you built this team to do exactly what they're doing, and they're doing it at the highest level, and it's very impressive what they've been able to do. For this game breakdown, it's Bobrovsky again. I mean, what more can you say about this guy? He stops 18 of 19 shots. He is the first star of the night for the Florida Panthers. There we go. I got it officially. Sergei Bobrovsky, 18 saves, 19 shots again, 947 save percentage. What Sergei Bobrovsky was able to do on Monday night was so impressive. And, I mean, he's just been doing it all postseason long, and he continues his ways here. So 18 saves on 19 shots again for Sergei Bobrovsky. Very, very impressive. But, this is what he's been doing. And then our second star will be Evan Rodriguez, as that's Alexander Barkov, not Evan Rodriguez in that picture. That's my mistake. My apologies. But just pretend that's Evan Rodriguez in the small frame there. Evan Rodriguez gets 2 goals in this game on 2 shots on goal. He was a +1 in this game. Was very, very helpful in that third period, making the most of a couple of Evan Bouchard mistakes that Evan Rodriguez was able to capitalize off of. But with all that being said, we're going to get into our game breakdown, talk about the goals that happened here. The Oilers were the ones that got on the board first. They opened the scoring with Mattias Ekholm. He received a pass from Connor McDavid inside of the defensive zone, and he kind of just wheeled. The defenseman, you don't really expect him to make that charge to net, and he did. He had Leon Draisaitl on his other side with a cross crease set up, but he decided to take it on his own, and that proved to be the right decision as he beat Sergei Bobrovsky 5-hole, trickles into the net. It was a very impressive goal from Evan Bouchard, where the entire hockey world really was expecting a pass there to Leon Draisaitl, the superstar forward, the probably second best player on the ice, undisputed. So he looks him off, he takes the shot himself, and he scores. Very, very impressive what Mattias Ekholm was able to do here. And then it was all downhill from here for the Oilers. They gave up 4 unanswered goals after a 1-0 start, and it's so disappointing because they had this game and they had a chance, but they couldn't get the offense going. They got outshot by the Panthers by 10, 29-19, and this is kind of what happens when all things don't go your way. It was the Panthers with a beautiful zone entry. It was the Panthers with a beautiful zone entry that got their first goal of the game. It was Niko Mikkola that got the first goal. There was offensive production from the defensive player. We talk about it so often. Offensive production from the defensive player. That's what you need to win in the playoffs, and they got that. The Oilers have been getting that at the highest degree with Evan Bouchard and Mattias Ekholm scoring the goal there in the first, and then Nikola Mikkola responding right back midway through the second. Assisted by Anton Lundell and Vladimir Tarasenko. It was Tarasenko with a very impressive pass to Anton Lundell to enter the zone, and then Anton Lundell with, I think it was a backhanded pass behind his back that got to Niko Mikkola. Try saying that name 10 times fast. Niko Mikkola. It was just very impressive, and he just beat Stuart Skinner. Stuart Skinner looked bad in this game, and he hasn't looked good in these Stanley Cup finals. It's safe to say that Sergei Bobrovsky has won this battle without the rest of the games even needing to be played. Sergei Bobrovsky is clearly the best goaltender on the ice of the two teams, and he shows it every single game. Only 1 goal against, again, from Sergei Bobrovsky. I mean, it's now 4 straight games for the Russian goaltender, letting in 1 or less goals. So impressive. A .75 goals against average in his last 4 played. I mean, what more can you say about him? And then it was in the third period that the Panthers took the lead and extended the lead by 2. It was Evan Rodriguez with an unassisted goal. It was a weird goal. He got lucky on this one. It was a blocked shot, and then it was a great bounce that led straight back to his stick, and he just beat Stuart Skinner. Skinner probably could have done better. He just watched the puck go right over his stick on his blocker side. That was definitely a goal that was for sure on Stuart Skinner. But nonetheless, you're only down by 1 now for the Oilers, and they did have opportunities, but they couldn't capitalize throughout the entire third period. That was really the story of the Oilers. They had chances, couldn't capitalize on it. And the Panthers kind of made it easy on them. I mean, they gave up a lot of penalties. When we're talking about this Edmonton Oilers team and how they win games, it's through the power play. They were 0 for 4 on the power play in this game. They had, like I said, they had opportunities, and they definitely could have put more than 1 point up on the or on the scoreboard, but they just couldn't do it. And then it was Evan Rodriguez with his second goal of the night that extended the lead to 2, got that insurance goal for the Florida Panthers, all-important insurance goal, and it was definitely important. It was a power play goal as well, assisted by Anton Lundell and Oliver Ekman-Larsson. This was, the Oilers' power play was gonna give up 1 eventually. This game, I guess, for them is one to do it when you're already down and looking like a loss already. But I think it was 35 straight games where they killed opposition, or 35 straight power play opportunities for their opposition that they killed in a row. Very impressive what they've been able to do on the penalty kill all postseason long. I think they've only given up 2 power play goals this entire postseason, if I'm not, or now 3 power play goals, if I'm not mistaken, all postseason long. So very impressive what the Edmonton Oilers have been able to do, but just not being able to get the offense that warrants this defensive production. And it's kind of weird because it's the Edmonton Oilers here. They give up a lot of goals, but they just score more than they give up. And now recently, I mean, it doesn't look good for the Edmonton Oilers. Let me tell you this: they are playing to the Panthers' strengths, defensive minded. They're trying to beat them in breakouts, and they're not able to do it because the Panthers' forecheck is just swelling them. And it's just unfortunate for the Edmonton Oilers. They definitely had opportunities in this game, but they shot themselves in the foot a lot. They gave up six penalties. That's not how you win hockey games. Spending a sixth of the game on the PK, you're gonna give up one eventually, and they do give up one. I think on the sixth opportunity, I believe this came off the back of the roughing that was called on Leon Draisaitl that we're gonna be talking about in the second segment of the night. But yeah, for the Edmonton Oilers, they just got to do better by scoring goals. They got to figure out a way to beat Bobrovsky. They are still targeting him low and low pad side. We talked about it on our Monday podcast while this game was going on, that to beat Bobrovsky, you're going to need to beat him up high, and you're going to need to beat him high blocker side, more specifically. But the Edmonton Oilers haven't been able to really pressure that, haven't been able to put a focus on that. They aren't getting time to pick out their spot in the corners, or where they haven't had the puck on their stick long enough in the offensive zone to do it. So they need to play better in the offensive zone, and they need to be better playing through the neutral zone as well. But when you're playing this Florida Panthers team that is so swarming and just completely dominating you, what else are you going to do really for the Florida Panthers? They are playing such an impressive style of hockey. They got to the Stanley Cup final last year for a reason. Can the Edmonton Oilers do what the Vegas Golden Knights were able to do last year and figure out this team? The Florida Panthers have a fantastic defense, and this maybe be the unstoppable force versus the immovable object kind of theory. You have the McDavid-led Oilers offensive style of hockey, the unstoppable force, meeting the immovable object, the Sergei Bobrovsky, Gustav Forsling and Aaron Ekblad led Florida Panthers. So it's interesting to see how it's playing out, and it is definitely going to the advantage of the Florida Panthers. So we're going to see how it plays out going even more forward into this Stanley Cup Finals. I'm excited to see Game 3 and Game 4 back in Edmonton, see if there's some life in this team once they get the crowd in their back, and maybe they can put some good performances going for the rest of the series. But that'll wrap it up for our first segment of the night, talking about the second game of the Stanley Cup Finals. Next, we'll talk about some hits that happened in the game and how chippy it got kind of midway through that game.